And the other big issue we mentioned, in addition to property tax rebates, is school aid. One report I saw today suggested that the governor may cut up to, I think it was $800 million worth of school aid. Um, the NJEA has been spending a substantial amount of money. I know they spent $3 million during the election to smear the governor, and now they're putting out talking points and even running ads and radio advertisements talking about how the governor is going to hurt schools and programs are going to be cut back. Why should New Jersey parents and students not be concerned about these cuts?
Well, I do think you're going to hear that there will be cuts to school. My understanding is that the cuts that will be made will be less than 5% of the amount of state aid going to every school in the state. So, it's not 5% of your local school budget. It's less than 5% of the state aid to your local school, which, at the end of the day, isn't that much. And I don't think there's anybody in New Jersey who believes that all of our school districts are running as efficiently as possible. So I'm confident that school board members will be able to deal with these reductions in aid and not reduce the number of programs or teachers that we have in our classrooms in New Jersey. The flip side of those cuts, though, Matt, is really what we should be focusing on and the thing we should be celebrating about this budget adjustment coming up. And the flip side is that the governor recognizes that with the reductions in aid, he's going to have to give school boards the tools to be more flexible and to deal with these reductions. So what the governor is going to propose in addition to school aid cuts is greater flexibility in negotiations, for example, with local teachers unions. Greater flexibility to become more efficient in purchasing rent services. More taxpayer protections to keep school budgets down and the tax levies in town down. So while with one hand, Trenton is going to be providing slightly less school aid next year, nothing that's catastrophic, but it is a reduction. With the other hand, they're going to be transforming the way school boards can do business. And in the long term, that is really will be the lasting legacy of this budget. The reforms and the transformation that the reforms will permit at the school board level, at the municipal level, at the county level, those will be the most important aspects of this address and why we should be excited about what the governor is going to unveil today.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that's kind of annoyed me about the coverage is that the newspapers have tended to focus on the numbers. I guess because they're more eye grabbing, how much is going to be cut. Instead, they haven't chosen to focus on what's more important that you just touched on, the structural reform oriented changes that Governor Christie's trying to implement, which are going to yield dividends for years to come. So.
Yeah, school aid will rise, school aid will fall. The state's revenue will rise and fall with the economy, and there'll be years where school aid can go up, for example. But these structural reforms are to both school board members and taxpayers as they grapple with the ever present problem of rising property taxes.
Now, I think, as for all the reasons that we've discussed already, the average New Jersey resident who's been suffering under, an extraordinary tax burden over the past decade and beyond, should be very happy about what's going to happen tomorrow because it's the first substantive step I think our state government's taken in years to begin to alleviate that burden. One caveat to that, though, and I'm reminded by the fact by watching Tom Goodwin get sworn in today in the state senate, he represents Hamilton. For our listeners that don't know, there are a lot of state workers out there among us who are also taxpayers, and they're getting a lot of misinformation right now. So you, Mr. Chairman, as the official spokesman for our party, if you're explaining to a state worker why this is in their best interests and in the best interest of the state of New Jersey, what do you say?
I'd say a couple of things. It's obvious to everyone, I think, direction we're headed, a reduced state government, cutting spending instead of raising taxes. And that's good for all New Jerseyans, but especially state workers, because, look, we're on the verge of killing the golden goose. The goose that lays the golden eggs for state workers. I mean, these people who are the majority of both good, decent, honest public servants, they are just not going to be well served by a system that is going bankrupt. Bankrupt in the pension system, bankrupt with health care benefits, and unable to meet its basic obligations. I don't know if people realize how perilously close we were in December to not making payroll. We were 4 days away from being able to pay our state employees because that's how bad the fiscal situation got. And if we didn't take the steps, governor didn't take the steps to freeze state spending and impound certain funds last month, we were going to be unable to make payments again in March. The state's fiscal situation is dire, and every taxpayer in this state has a stake in seeing it turned around. State workers especially, we have to shore up that pension system for the pensions that they've earned. We have to make sure we deliver on the promises of health care benefits that we've made to them. And state workers whom we can afford to pay, we have to make sure that we meet payroll. So state workers chief among all, should be interested in making sure that this government gets on solid fiscal footing, both now in fiscal year 2011 and into the future, so we can meet our obligations. And I think Chris Christie and the Republican Party have a message for everybody in this state, not the least of whom would be the decent people who go to work every day for us and try to serve the public.
Mr. Chairman, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come here and enlighten us and explain some of what's going on in Trenton. And we wish you the best of luck throughout the remainder of the day. It's certainly going to be interesting.
It'll be a great day. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Mr. Chairman.